Welcome back to the Hetalia Fandom. It's been a while, hasn't it? For those of you returning, you probably haven't been here since you were, 15, 16 years old? A lot has changed since then. You probably remember it as this horrible, toxic community full of fujoshis and ship wars. For the new people, don't worry. I'm here to guide you around and help you get involved with the fandom as you wish. With that, let's jump into this miniature guide to one of anime's most infamous fandoms. My, how the fandom has changed. You probably know the Hetalia Fandom as a place full of rabid weeaboos and fujoshis, bloody shipping wars, and overall, terrible, cringy kids. But the Hetalia Fandom has evolved over time, and has been trying to shed its horrible reputation for a while, changing from Nene Papa to demonic dancing. The weebs are few and far between. I haven't seen a fujoshi in years, and the large portion of the fandom is full of people returning for the nostalgia. There's a shipping battle every now and then, but it's calmed down so much to the point where we host the shipping awards every year, and the comments are completely peaceful. There's still a bit of animosity between Fruck and US-UK, but I'll get into that later. But that unforgiving hatred towards France, now he's one of the most popular characters in the fandom. Everyone hating the Hetalia girls because they get in the way of the ships? Unheard of. Now everyone wants the Hetalia girls to step on them. Minor characters that were previously ignored? People celebrate them daily. The rabid fujoshis? Mostly gone. People cosplaying Nazis? Merely a paragraph in the history books. So much has changed in the Hetalia fandom. The Hetalia fandom is just like any other fandom now. Just as fun and toxic as your average fandom. No need to cancel the Hetalia fandom. The Hetalia fandom already cancels itself. We kind of have this thing where we don't want to go back to what it used to be. So all that horrible stuff in the old fandom does not fly here. It's like fire sprinklers whenever there's a fire. We have the fire department on speed dial in case anything breaks loose. Long story short, we have many precautions set up to keep potential Nazis and other bad people out of the fandom. We have a reputation to uphold. Anyways, let's get to the basics for you newbies. If you're new here, you're probably wondering where to watch the anime or how to read the manga. To watch the anime, you can sign up on Crunchyroll and watch it legally. Or apparently it is also on Hulu. Since Italia episodes are only 5 minutes long, you can binge it really fast. And if you're that bro, you can just watch it on other illegal anime sites like everyone else does anyways. Come on, I know you use Kiss Anime, you criminal. Most anime watchers will persecute you if you even think about watching the dub, but not the Hetalia fandom. See, the Hetalia sub and dub are kind of like two separate animes. The sub is where you learn actual interesting information in history. The dub is mostly ad-libbed and similar to that of ghost stories. It's there to make you laugh your ass off because the ad-libbed lines are hysterical. But it can be a bit hard to understand sometimes, so I would recommend watching the sub to know what happens and then the dub to understand the memes and references. You keep hearing about cool manga-only characters, but you don't know where to read the manga. Fear not, this guide will give you the resources to do that too. You could always buy the books, but if you're hoping to keep updated on Himaruya's blog, since all the comics are posted on his blog anyways, I would suggest the Hetalia Archives or hetascanlations.tumblr.com. The manga has really interesting things from new characters to fascinating history and lore to really, really messed up stuff. It's quite the wild card. There are two types of people in the Hetalia fandom. New, younger fans, and old fans coming back for the nostalgia. The younger fans tend to be mostly cringy, I'm not going to lie. But you can rest easily knowing that they'll grow out of it eventually. But there's more older people than younger people as of lately, so the fandom isn't as wild as it used to be, as the older fans guide the younger fans. Then we have a few other types of fans. There's the obsessive ones, which are the people that tend to devote their life and soul to Hetalia, starting up mini churches and religion, and basically having Hetalia take over their life. only to get bored a few years later and leave the fandom for something else. Then we have the people that say they hate Italia, but interact with the fandom anyways. The cancer. These are the toxic, how dare you not draw fan art the way I expect you to, and you said something I don't like, I'm going to lead a crusade against you, kind of people. Every fandom has these, there's no avoiding it. But the Hetalia fandom has significantly less people like this. Due to the show being based off of ethnic stereotypes, you can expect that there are a lot less people like this. And even the people in this fandom that are like that aren't even that bad. In the Hetalia fandom, these people are only on Twitter, and only a few are on Instagram. So if you're looking for a fandom with minimal drama, Hetalia is a surprisingly good place for that. This is what the fandom is most well known for. Since Hetalia only has one, maybe two canon pairings, shipping is an absolute free-for-all here in this fandom. There are so many ships. In fact, this is such a big topic, I'm going to point you to the shipper's guide here in the corner. That will tell you everything you need to know about the shipping side of the fandom. In the meantime, here are a few quick things to know about the shipping in the Hetalia fandom. While this fandom used to be known for its fujoshis, now all ships are loved and accepted. Hetero ships, lesbian ships, ships with inanimate objects. All is welcome here except for anything involving incest or characters that are too young. You know, like any other fandom. Well, how do I know if what I'm shipping is incest or creepy, you may ask? Haha, that's a good question. People in this fandom love shipping more than anything else, so it would be in your best consideration not to bash another person's ship. First, it's rude. Second,
you will unleash a force of uncontainable malice that will devour your soul.
Yeah, don't bash other people's ships. I don't care if you think USUK is incest. No one else wants to hear it. Don't be rude. There is one more thing I should tell you, though, about Hetalia shipping. Remember that incest thing I told you about? Well, half of the fandom thinks USUK, England and America, is incest. Therefore, unfortunately, USUK shippers are constantly faced with people telling them why their ship sucks. Thus, there's kind of been this ongoing battle between FRUK, the pairing involving France and England, and USUK. It's calmed down now, but there's still a few skirmishes every now and then. These are two of the most popular ships in the fandom, so you're going to see them a lot. Just a heads up. Never say USUK is incest. Just don't do it. There are many ways to get involved in the community and interact with other people who love Hetalia. And I know what you're thinking. Ugh, I don't want to get involved with the Hetalia fandom. Ew. Trust me, you're going to get dragged in anyways, whether you want to or not. That's just how it happens. The Hetalia Amino is one of the best ways to get in touch with the community. It is the best place to find group RPs because this platform lets you start up chat rooms for whatever kind of RP you want. It doesn't even have to be an RP. You can talk about whatever topic you want. It's a good place to post fan art, fan fiction, make and take fun trivia quizzes, conduct polls, write your own articles. Amino is just an amazing app for connecting with other people in a specific fandom, and I highly recommend it. Not that I'm sponsored or anything, but that would be really cool though. The Hetalia fandom is very active on Instagram. There's all kinds of fan art and cosplay blogs here. RP chats can also be found here. The Hetalia fandom is quite active on this site. There are also people who make Instagrams role-playing as the characters, posting places that said characters would go to. Some take it a step further by taking pictures of random real-life people on the internet that look like the characters and post nothing but those people. Which is honestly a little weird, like, who are these people? Did you credit them? Do they know that you're using their pictures of them for weeb shit? Now, I know what you're thinking. Ugh, Tumblr. No. Just hear me out, okay? Tumblr is good for posting fan art, fan fictions, ask blogs, submission blogs. There's all kinds of ways to interact on Tumblr, and the fandom, like many others, is pretty active on here. You can find cool fan art and fan comics on DeviantArt and a lot of good and bad relics of the past. Since the Hetalia fandom is very old, archaic works from 2011 are still around. And believe me, it's like finding an ancient artifact. With cringe. Or sorrow if the author doesn't update that work anymore. You can find a Hetalia Discord if you really want to interact with the community, play games like Among Us, just chat with people who like what you like, follow a creator you really like. Overall, it's a good way to make friends that love Hetalia. I would recommend the Hetalia region or the server of yours truly. Shameless self-promotion. Reddit is a thing. Hetalia Twitter, also known as Hetatwt, is just like any other Twitter. It's cancer. Like any other Twitter, there's non-stop arguing and drama. I don't recommend. Not just Hetatwt, but just any Twitter in general. It's not healthy. And then there's Google+, which is just as dead as Tumblr after 2018. There are so many fanfiction sites these days, but there are 3 main sites where you can find Hetalia fanfiction. Fanfiction.net, Archive of Our Own, and Wattpad. The most common sites are split between Fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own. The older Hetalia fanfictions, the relics of the past, as you may call them, are more prevalent on Fanfiction.net, while the newer fanfictions tend to be more prevalent on Archive of Our Own. But people still use Fanfiction.net to this day. The fandom is pretty split between these two. You'll find some really old fics on places like LiveJournal, but those are like fossils. Things that must be preserved and looked upon as relics of their time. You can also find fics on Tumblr, DeviantArt, and Amino, but they're a bit harder to search for. There's all kinds of Hetatubers, though many aren't as active as they used to be. Heta gamers. Hetalia is also known for its surprisingly large variety of fan games, like Hetatwt and other RPG games, that lots of people know and love. So there are a lot of people that have done Let's Plays of the game, though sometimes it's better just to play the game yourself, which is hard to do if you have a Mac though. Kazujiro and Kyokun are 2 of the most well-known Hetatubers in this department. MMD and hand-drawn animations. These are the people with true talent. There's quite a few Hetalia MMD creators, or at least there used to be. You can still find some crack videos here and there, but the very best were back in the Hetalia fandom's glory days. There's still some of the most prevalent Hetalia-related content though. Not to say that there isn't good stuff now, just most of it is shit posting. But hey, mad respect to the animators, especially those who do hand-drawn animations. Those are harder to find, but they are very cool. These creators put a lot of hard work into their creations. MMD animation is hard, and hand animations are even harder, so give them some respect. There are a variety of MMD animators, and you will find them everywhere. I miss you, Kaede X503. Copyright avoiders. Then there are the people that post fully dubbed Hetalia episodes on YouTube. No, I don't know how they get away with that either. Theorist and opinion vlogs. There are 2 types of these YouTubers. There are people like Hetatwt and I who discuss random topics in Hetalia. Then you have people giving their top 10 favorite ships or songs or discussing characters they love with text on screen while some edgy music or Hetalia music plays in the background. Because talking is a thing of the past. Shit posters. You'll know them when you see them. The entire fandom is made up of shit posters. What did you expect? Here are some common things that you may hear around the fandom. Another name for the alternative colored palettes that Hima gave to characters a while ago. People put evil, edgy personas to them and treat them like they're canon, even though they're just characters in a different color. If you see anything like 3P or 4P, they're just ultra-neon edgy versions of the characters. Doitsuism. A term for those who worship Hetalia Germany. Doitsu being the word for Germany in Japanese. It's a mini-religion within the fandom. Seriously, look it up. Oh, by the way, there are a lot of mini-religions in this fandom, just for your information. The Pawun Army, another name for the fandom, comes from an episode where Italy disguises himself as an elephant. 5 Katz for 5 Deutschmarks at Arby's. A meme that came from the painted white bloopers because we do not deserve Patrick Seitz. Bald Talia. An obsession with some people to make all the characters bald. Yeah, I don't get this either. But it all started with the creator of the Hetalia Discord, Joe, bought this bald Russia plushie and now it's out of control. But it's so popular that my Discord has to have a whole separate channel for it. It's madness. Mochis. Japanese pastries made out of rice flour that also personify the nations. It's Italia, but with weird rice ball things that are absolutely cursed. This is America Mochi. He is a thing in the fandom. Yes, all these drawings are canon art drawn by Hidekazu Himaruya himself. Yes, I am just as confused as you are. No, I don't know what this has to do with history. Yes, it is very cursed. But you will see this everywhere, so be prepared. Vital regions, another word for the no-no zone. Herrstick. You remember that stick that Germany carries in the first episode? Well, he's a fan favorite in the fandom. Iggy brows. England's eyebrows can be used to describe things with big eyebrows as well. George de Valliere, the author of Auf Wiedersehen, Sweetheart, and a couple of other overrated fanfictions. Neo or Neotalia. Hetalia, but gender-bent. Necotalia. Hetalia, but with cats. Hetalia Day, a day where everyone cosplays and celebrates Hetalia on the 24th of October. Before interacting with the Hetalia fandom, here are a few unspoken rules. Don't be a dick. Seems simple enough. Respect people, their pronouns, their backgrounds, and their ships. Just, don't be a dick. You think this would be common sense, but oh, you'd be disappointed. Don't bring politics into Italia. I know you think you're being edgy or heroic or whatever. I know you think you're going to educate people on a topic that you're passionate about and make them see the light. But trust me, you'll regret it later. You're going to look back at what you've done and think, that was such cringe. Trust me, I've been there. Don't do it. Do not ship bash. Hetalia fans care a lot about their ships, so bashing a ship is just asking for death. All art and cosplay is valid and wonderful, unless it has anything to do with Nazis, Confederate States of America, or anything that is super touchy and controversial. Just use common sense here, please. The Hetalia fandom doesn't tolerate that shit in 2021. Be ready to make fun of yourself, because we're shipping sentient nations, so we're all trash anyways. In conclusion, we learned that the Hetalia fandom went through some serious detoxification. It's just like any other fandom, except it's very self-conscious about going back. It has transformed from toxic to cursed. To conclude, I will recite a message from both the show and the fandom. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it, and as the Hetalia fandom, we most certainly know a thing about learning from history.